it's time for me to make a dedication and to make explicit what's inspired me to start this channel. I mean, actually death, dying, bereavement has been something that I have worked with over the years, and felt that the way it's tackled in society was inappropriate at best and completely ridiculous, really, and causing all sorts of problems. But the other person that I've been travelling with on her last journey has also done the same, to a far greater degree than I have, actually, and that's my mother. She's still with us, and she knows about this channel, and it has her blessing and indeed encouragement. She's delighted because it has been a significant part of her life to enable others to look at death in a more healthy way. What set her off on this was the fact that she was diagnosed with cancer when I was in my early 20s. That was theoretically resolved at the time, but since then she has studied it intensely. She's worked with many cancer groups. She has been used as a consultant for several major disasters in London. I'll post a link to information about the two most significant ones in the sidebar, one of which was the Marchioness disaster, which ironically one of my friends died in, and also the King's Cross fire. But she and I both felt that the way death was dealt with in general, right from the time when she had cancer, and the way that society looks at it, is just a complete nonsense. And I remember very clearly when I was called in by the consultant as a young woman to talk about what was going on with my mother, and she asked if I knew what was wrong with her, and I said, oh yes, she has cancer, and her jaw literally dropped. I'm assuming for the fact that I was able to say the word at all, and that I was able to say the word without falling on the floor and foaming at the mouth. She then asked me if my mother knew what was wrong with her. And I pointed out that the fact that they were talking about carcinoma and malignancy in front of my mother meant that yes, indeed, she did know that this was an intelligent woman with a degree from Oxford who understood such terms. And we've had similar things as this process has gone on with her. She and I both knew what was happening from about last September, when she was initially taken into hospital, and she and I have been talking about that ever since, and she was much more with it, for want of a better word, than she is now. And there was a young doctor in who was theoretically a geriatric specialist, who said, do you know what's happening? And she said quite cheerfully, because she and I like to be realistic, we're very pragmatic about things, we always deal with whatever's happening head on. She said, oh yes, I'm dying. And he said, oh, we mustn't talk about things like that. And she said, why not? It happens. And the experience has been pretty similar, as far as the medical profession is concerned, ever since. It's only a few weeks ago that they actually acknowledged what was happening, even though it was as plain as the nose on your face. But I must admit that for all our openness over the years, I did wonder whether we would be able to take this journey as openly and freely together as we imagined we might. And the answer has been yes. And so I'm glad to share that, because whilst it's been intense, emotional, painful, confusing, bizarre, it has also been an extraordinary experience which has made me more than I was before. And I am very grateful for it and for her ability to go through this in the way that she has. And so I dedicate this to Mary. She will be very pleased if her last journey enables others to face their deaths or the deaths of those that are close to them in a way that is valuable and realistic and honest and loving, and it'll please me.